Okay.
Now maybe?
Can you hear us online now? Okay,
Good?
good.
We're good.
Well, we were muted. So no connection. So you will now hear, for those of you online who did not hear me, you will now hear from Kjell Persson, our CDO at SIS. He will talk a little bit about why we are doing this. And then after his session, we will have a sort of wrap-up Q&A. You can ask all questions that you've been thinking about the entire day, and Marta and Patrice will do their very best to answer them. So,
Okay,
Kjell.
thank you. The focus of today is OSD, and I'm just the extra fill of what's next, what's the next step after OSD. So from my point of view, OSD is really brilliant. Perhaps not 100% perfect, but it is brilliant and it's very clever. But that's actually not enough. We can do more with this. And that's what my focus is actually the thing that's called SMART. And SMART is just, yeah, it sounds good, but it doesn't mean the standards will be any more clever. It's just another way of using what we already produced as high quality products. So I will not talk technology. That's too boring in the afternoon. I was trying to answer why is SMART and what is it in a very simple term, and what kind of contribution will this be? So all of you working in OSD, that's what we call upstream. But we have a lot of end users and the partners, and they call it middle stream and downstream. So SMART is actually for downstream, middle stream. So when we're done our product, we need to use this for the end user, and that's where this SMART concept comes in. So let's see if we can get this one to click. Yes. So make it very, very simple. More people using more standards. That's it. That's basically the reason we have SMART, just to get our standards and the content out to much more users. So that is the core of SMART. So we can make it a bit more complicated, but I'm not going to talk about this picture, but it is quite complicated. As you can see in the left part, it says OSD. Everything starts with OSD. If we get the OSD part correct, then we can reach the right side where we have end users, we have the industry, we have our partners and everything that wants to use our content. But we want them to use it in a correct way, with a high quality way. And that's why we need to start with OSD and move through all this technology gibberish in the middle to get something out for them. So that is more complex. Another way of pushing this is that we have the OSD. That's the first step, the red one, the integration, and that one could then be used. Now we're getting closer to what SMART is. We will use this as APIs, ways of interacting with the content directly from end users' applications. We will also produce wizards and tools. We will produce someone. Part of it will probably be made from ISO, and the rest of it will probably be used by our end users themselves, like Volvo. I know that P.O. Brandt is in this call somewhere. We're talking with Volvo 2 weeks ago regarding how they are going to use the OSD products going smart on their inside. We will have a discussion on Friday, I think, with Scania. So this is the way it's moving. They want our content in the OSD way, going smart. So this is basically what I want you to remember. It's quite simple. SMART is basically Lego. It's Lego tools. Everything you do in the OSD setup is actually creating all these Lego pieces. On the right side is representation of a standard. Yeah, we have the forwards, and we have reference, and we have two definitions, terms definitions, and then we have all the content. All of these pieces, that's what you're doing in the inside of the OSD. You're creating a lot of pieces. They are marked up a bit differently, and they can then be assembled into the document. That's when we go to the PDF or whatever we want to do it. So this is the way we do it in OSD, and then we can do other smart things with it. So yes, it is still a document, but all these pieces, all these Lego pieces can be used, reused, and reconnected. So if you look at these pieces, you can see it says down here, I-848B5A075. That is actually the small data tablets saying this is ISO 9001-42, chapter 42. That's some of the parts of ISO 9001. So these pieces will follow the Lego pieces. So everyone can connect them, reuse them, connect their own content to this one. So this will be a stream of information. That's the XML. That's why you're using OSD to create these things. You don't need to care about them. They do exist, and they are the important part. So if we now have broken up this standard, like 9001, into pieces, what fun can we do? Well, this is an example that we've done here at SIS. And this is basically 9001. The product is called Assist. So basically this is the management standards. And today it's 9001, 14001, 45001. I think we're going for the AI standard also and some other ones. They are basically the same, and end user doesn't read them from the first line to the last line. They work through them all. Like chapter 4.2 is the same in all these standards. So you want to read them next to each other. So then, of course, it's better to give them the different chapters directly, and they can go through them. And if you look at this, this is just an example of a product. What you can see is this is 4.1 in Swedish. And if you read it and think it's quite difficult, you could always go for the guidance. So we've written a standard called 9002 to explain what we're saying in 9001. That's perhaps telling us a bit about how we're writing and why we need to rewrite these standards, but that's the way we do it. But in the same time, Volvo has their own way of explaining 9001 inside of Volvo. So they could have that one and put that one here in their Volvo guidance. Could work. Why not? Then, of course, in this case, this is a self-assessment tool. So I could do my assessment while I'm in progress. This is the responsible. This is what we're doing, and so forth. That's the way how they use our standards. And that's content directly connected to this 4.1. So this will make us a digital path of information from our original OSD content to the end user's content. So that's an example of what we could do. And this is much more contribution. Of course, we could take this a step further. And some of our friends, colleagues, has done that. So this is just another example, not what we've done at SIS, but this is actually Norway. So Norway, our friends in Norway, they help their own Statens vägväsen, or Trafikverket in Swedish, actually to do their own documentation. So this is the standards for traffic in Norway. And as you can see, they are online. They have all the documents, all the requirements, and you can search it and find it. So if you do that, look at their standards. This is actually made in OSD. Well, the Norwegian authoring tool for Vägväsen. But they've done the same. So they have created their content. But if you go in search, you will see there are connections directly to ISO content. These are the Lego pieces, reused, reconnected. And that makes the whole content that we create much more valuable when we can reuse it. So that's basically examples of what we can do when we all have created content in OSD. But we need to get every content into OSD first, then we can play around with it. So this is just examples of what will happen with your content when you made it and secured it. Okay, that's basically it. Are you on the run? Questions? Excellent. Okay, then we're done with that one. So where are we going next? We could go on more all applications. I could say that if you have every content in pieces, it's quite easy to adopt some kind of support tool like an AI chatbot, because then you have access to all information. They have very difficult in reading all standards. When you broken it up to pieces, then they can understand it. So that will probably we will see coming up in next year. You will meet chatbots. There will be an ISO chatbot helping you with OSD. And yes, we will have chatbots on our side for our end users. We'll not start with like a bot that could talk with everyone, but at least we start in some segments, like for building constructions, we help them with a chatbot. That's what's going to happen in the upcoming year, as long as we have digital content. So that's it. Let's start building more OSD. Okay? Okay.
Thank you. All right. I think everyone is quite tired with the abundance of knowledge you've received today. On behalf of myself and Patrice and ISOCS, thank you so much, Lisa, Matt, Shell, and all of our colleagues here at SIS for allowing us to be here today and to share with you, the future, the digital transformation, this journey that we're going through together. We are here to support you. We are here to provide you with guidance and tools. We want to hear from you. So please reach out to us whenever you feel stuck or you just want to have a chat about OSD or would like to learn more. We are here to support you. So thank you so much, everyone. And if there are no further questions, I will pass it on to Lisa. But if there are any questions. Well, I really hope that we've left you excited and curious and really ready to dive into OSD. So I hope at least we've left that impression on you today. So thank you very much.
So yeah, again, a big thank you to both of you. It's been a very very deep, well, information heavy, but really, really good day from my point of view, at least. And I hope that sort of the goal for us is to, well, get you excited about what OSD can do and start pushing already today. Okay, let's convert. Let's dive into OSD. Try and start working. Get in the sandbox if you're not ready to sort of push your committee to it already now. But we want to sort of help ISO with their goal to start converting more and more projects into OSD. And I hope that we've sort of given you the input information that it actually is a fantastic tool. There are things that we can develop further, obviously, but send us the feedback and we can relay it to ISO. So with that, to our external participants, I would like to thank you for joining us. Like I said, the information will be uploaded on the site where you registered. We will transform it into an information site where we will put up the recording from today and links to sort of what Marta showed us, where you can have the trainings and so on.
And just to add, we had really amazing questions today. We've learned a lot ourselves. We've discussed in between the breaks. So we will also put together all of your questions in a fact sheet, take all your feedback, and then also post that on the online site as well. And add it to our newsletter that's coming next month.
Perfect.
Actually, just before we leave, everyone starts to run off, can we just have a big group photo together at the very end when we're done? Would be so great.
Very good. And for the SIS members, well, the SIS employees joining us tomorrow, and we will focus a little bit about the voting and so on. And you can relay that information to your experts later on. Okay, so the people online, thank you so much. We will shut down the meeting and then we will get maybe outside for a picture, and we'll ask Emma and Shivan for a big group picture.